December 22 National Mathematics Day, that is శ్రీనివాస రామానుజన్ బర్త్డే. ఈ సందర్భంగా ప్రతి ఒక్కరు నాట్ ఓన్లీ మ్యాథ్స్ టీచర్స్, మ్యాథ్స్ స్టూడెంట్స్, మరి ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి కూడా మరి మ్యాథమెటిక్స్ అనేది నిత్య జీవితంలో భాగమై ఉంటుంది. ఖచ్చితంగా ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి మ్యాథమెటిక్స్ అనేది అవసరం కూడా. ప్రతి వాళ్ళు కూడా అంటే ఇప్పుడు 1 to 8th క్లాసెస్ అయిపోయే వరకే విద్యార్థులు ఏం నేర్చుకోవాలి అంటే 8th క్లాస్ కంప్లీట్ అయిందంటే విద్యార్థికి ఎలాంటి అవగాహన ఉండాలి, మరి ప్రతి వాళ్ళకు కూడా మరి ఈ మ్యాథమెటిక్స్ మీద అవగాహన అనేది ఉండాలని కోరుకుంటూ ఈరోజు 1 to 8th క్లాస్ లెర్నింగ్ అవుట్కమ్స్, మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద స్టూడెంట్స్ ఆర్ స్టడీయింగ్ ఇంగ్లీష్ మీడియం కాబట్టి ఈ ఇంగ్లీష్ మీడియంలో లెర్నింగ్ అవుట్కమ్స్ 1 to 8th క్లాస్ లెర్నింగ్ అవుట్కమ్స్ మ్యాథమెటిక్స్ క్లాస్ 1. The learner estimates and measures of weight, capacity and short lengths using non-standard units like fingers, handspan, length of forearm, footsteps, etc. Applies addition and subtraction of numbers 1 to 20 in daily life. Next, counts objects up to 20. ఏ వస్తువులు ఇచ్చినా మరి కౌంటు చేయగలగాలి. Creates simple patterns of shapes and numbers. Next, identify and writes numerals up to 99. These are the first class learning outcomes. The students should have knowledge on these things after completion of first class. Next, learning outcomes second class. The learner reads and writes numbers up to 99 using groups of tens and ones. Next, extend patterns using different objects, shapes and numbers. Solves simple daily life situation problems based on addition and subtraction of 2-digit numbers with and without regrouping. Estimates and verifies by measuring length, distance, weight and capacities using non-standard units. Describe basic 3D and 2D shapes with their observable characteristics. Collects data, represents it in a table and draws inferences. These are the second class learning outcomes in mathematics. Next, third class learning outcomes. The learner reads and writes numerals for numbers up to 999. Solves simple daily life situation problems based on addition and subtraction of 3-digit numbers with and without regrouping. Constructs and uses the multiplication facts of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in daily life situations. Describes division as equal grouping and sharing and uses simple division in daily life. Divides numbers by using repeated subtraction. Observes a 3D object from top side and front sides. Identify 2D figures in 3D objects without naming figures as triangle, rectangle, etc. Estimates the length, weight and capacity of an object and verifies by measuring them in meters, kilograms and liters. Estimates and verifies the number of given shape that can completely fill a given region. Reads the time correctly to the hour using a clock. Extends patterns in simple shapes and numbers. Represents data pictorially and draws conclusions. Next, fourth class learning outcomes. The learner reads and writes numerals for numbers greater than 1000 and compares the numbers by using place values of the digits in a number. Solves simple real life situation problems by using 4 fundamental operations. Identifies half, 1/4 and 3/4 in a group of objects or an object and represents it in a given picture. Identifies edges, corners and faces of 3D objects and counts them. Prepares net shapes of 3D objects. Identifies 2D shapes like triangle, rectangle, square and circle by counting sides and corners. Estimates the length or distance in centimeters and meters. Weight in gram and kilograms, capacity in liters and milliliters, verifies by measuring them, reads the time correctly to the hour and minutes using a clock, reads the calendar and writes the data in correct format, calculates the perimeter of a geometrical figure formed by line segments, extends and creates pattern in simple shapes and numbers, represents data in a tabular and pictorial form and draws conclusions. Next, fifth class learning outcomes. The learner solves simple real life situational problems including money, length, mass and capacity by using the four fundamental operations, represents fractions formed by dividing, sharing objects in real life situations, compares the fractions and solves the problems including fractions. Next, classifies angles into right angle, acute angle, obtuse angle and represents the same by drawing and tracing, relates commonly used larger and smaller units of length, weight and volume and converts larger units to smaller units and vice versa, expresses the time in AM, PM and railway timetable formats, calculates the number of days in between given two dates, calculates the perimeter of a geometrical figure formed by line segments, explains area by calculating numbers of squares that can completely fill a rectangle, square, triangle, etc., extends and creates patterns in a simple shapes and numbers like triangular and square numbers, collects data related to various daily life situations, represents it in tabular form and as bar graphs and interprets. Next, sixth class learning outcomes. Learner reads the larger numbers in Indo-Arabic English systems and compares the numbers, applies LCM and HCF in real life situations, explains properties of whole numbers, explains significance of zero also, solves problems involving addition and subtraction on integers, solves problems in real life situations by using ratio and proportion, solves problems in daily life situations involving addition and subtraction of fractions and decimals, expresses relationships in a given situation in daily life in the form of an expression or equation by using variable, demonstrates an understanding of geometrical ideas like point, line, segment, straight line, ray and curve, identifies simple closed figures, expresses angle, vertex and side of the figure in mathematical notations, identifies circle and parts, center, diameter, radius, arc and sector in it and explains, calculates perimeters of regular polygons and area of a given rectangle, represents the data collected from real life situations in a tabular form by using tally marks and in a pictorial form and a bar graph, identifies 3D shapes like sphere, cube, cuboid, cylinder, cone in real life situations on the basis of their fundamental properties, demonstrates symmetry in objects by using symmetrical line, draws multiple symmetrical lines to the figures wherever possible. Learning outcomes class 7. The learner solves problems involving four fundamental operations on integers, solves problems related to daily life situations involving fractions, rational numbers and decimals, uses exponential form of the numbers to simplify problems involving multiplication and division of large numbers, solves problems in daily life related to profit loss interested by using percentage and ratio, solves problems in daily life involving linear equations in one variable, demonstrates the types of angles formed by intersections of any two lines. Explains the properties of angle formed in and outside of a triangle. Explains congruency of triangles on the basis of the information given about them, like SSS, SAS, ASA or HS. Using ruler and a pair of compasses constructs triangle with given measurements. Finds the areas of parallelogram, triangle and rhombus. Estimates the value of pi. Calculates mean, median and mode of the ungrouped data of daily life. Identifies 3D shapes like sphere, cube, cuboids, cylinder and cone in real life situations and prepares net shapes to them. Explains line symmetry, rotational symmetry and point symmetry. Next, learning outcomes, mathematics class 8th. The learner generalizes properties of addition, subtraction, multiplication and division of rational numbers through patterns. Finds desired number of rational numbers in between any two given rational numbers. Proves divisibility of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 and 11 by using algebraic methods and solves puzzles, daily life problems. Solves problems using exponential laws in daily life. Finds squares, cubes, square roots and cube roots using different methods. Applies concept of percent in profit loss, discount, VAT, simple interest, compound interest and also solves problems involving ratios, direct and indirect variation. Solves daily life problems using algebraic expressions and identities. Also solves problems involving linear equations in one variable. Identifies similar figures. Calculates the ratio of corresponding parts. Constructs the quadrilateral with given measurements. Finds the areas of trapezium, rhombus by using formulae and finds areas of polygons and scalene quadrilateral by dividing the region into triangles. Finds areas of figures, designs involving area of circle and area of sector. Calculates the surface areas and volumes of cubes and cuboids. Finds mean, median and mode of a data given in a tabular form. Represents the data in bar graphs, frequency curves and pie charts. Okay, these are the learning outcomes from 1 to 8th class mathematics. Once again, National Mathematics greetings to all. Thank you.
ఈ వీడియో కనుక మీకు నచ్చినట్లయితే లైక్, షేర్ మరియు కామెంట్ చేయండి. మరిన్ని వీడియోస్ కోసం మా ఛానల్ని సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేసుకోండి.